Welcome to Lacrosse Classified, your go-to source for all things NLL and box lacrosse. We will bring you the biggest names and best storylines in the world every single week. So settle down and listen up. It's time for Lax Class.
What's going on, lacrosse fans? Welcome back to Lacrosse Classified. 367 is now a go, and it's me. It's Jake Elliott. It's Lucas Arger back in the co-host chair. And it is week 1 in the rearview mirror. It is week 2 on the horizon here for the National Lacrosse League. And we have a buttload of lacrosse talk coming up for you. Lucas, welcome back to the show. How's it going, man? What's going on?
It's going well, dude. Just got back from hanging out with a friend of mine. Rearranged my entire room today, which I'm pretty pleased with, not gonna lie. I had a bit of a different setup in my room for a long time throughout the summer, and now that it's the winter and my bed was covering my vent, so I had to rearrange it and actually get some airflow back in my room. So it's much more open now. I can actually walk a little bit more around it and clean out my closet too. So it's been a productive 2 days for me for sure. I found out I have clothes in my closet that I didn't even know that I owned. They still got the tags on them. I might start wearing them a little bit more, but no, I'm pretty pleased that I was able to be very productive and found my closet.
Oh, that's good. I should be ashamed of myself for the amount of clothes that I have like a pile jammed behind my bedroom door because I'm just out of closet space. I got garbage bags in storage. I don't know I don't like partying with clothes for some reason. So I just keep them even though I never wear them. And then eventually I run out of space and I got to do something with them. But it's probably a good time to donate some clothing. Homeless, it's getting cold out there. And that's a nice little PSA right there, Lucas. If you got extra clothes, donate those things. Keep the homeless warm, especially during these winter months. So what an awesome weekend it was. A busy one for me, Lucas. Danny was in Calgary. It was little baby Marlowe's, her grandbaby's first birthday. So she made the trip back there to celebrate Marlowe's first birthday. So happy birthday to Marlowe. She's back now. But I had the weekend to myself, but it was a busy weekend, Lucas. Again, I just got back from my doctor, a couple of appointments this week, Lucas. We're heading into week 3 of the back issues, but I believe today that I've turned a corner in that regard. Like he said, okay, like give it a couple weeks, then if you need to come back, come back. But he thinks I'm on the. And it's been a trying time. I will just say that. I don't know, like you're young, you probably don't have back problems, Lucas, but I've had them pretty much my whole life, and this was one of the worst things. Like it gets to be depressing, right? When you wake up and you're in pain day after day after day like that, it wears on you. But anyways, getting to go to work on Saturday was a big relief. Actually, that's when I probably felt my best. And then had a buddy's 60th birthday party right after that. Then Sunday back downtown again to do a little championship high school football, which I always look forward to. The championship game was absolutely awesome. Congratulations to the Lord Tweedsmuir Panthers, who took down the number 1 WJ Mowat Hawks in the final. I think you picked the Hawks there, Lucas. You lost. The Panthers killed the Hawks. It was a great game.
Damn it.
So that was great. And then I had a pretty productive Monday, and we're back to our regular Tuesday recording here. And we obviously got games to talk about. We got to recap the 4 games that went on in the National Lacrosse League for week number 1. We will have our standout players are back, courtesy of RyCor Construction. Our goalie of the week, the Goalie Factory is going to pick the goalie of the week each week, so that makes our lives a lot easier and more unbiased, I would say. We can just sit back, and the Goalie Factory is going to decide who the Goalie Factory goalie of the week is. So that's coming up here in quarter number 1. We got number 4 of the Colorado Mammoth, who just happened to get his 3rd sock trick of his career. Pretty short list of guys that have done that. Will Malcom, New Westminster, British Columbia, Colorado Mammoth, Will Malcom, Sam Belly, going to join us here in quarter number 2. Lax Class Lock of the Week. Lucas, what did we do? I think we went 2 for 4, maybe. I think we had Buffalo. We had Oshawa plus 1.5. We had Ottawa plus 1.5. I think they lost by 3. And we had Vancouver on the money line. And that one just did not happen. I think a lot of people got tripped up on Colorado and Vancouver this week. And then, so we'll try and do better this week. Only 2 games to choose from, so limited options, but we'll do our best. That's all we can do in quarter 3. Quarter 4, who you got? It's back. We have our first winner of the season. It is a very familiar name to yours truly, and probably to Lax Class fans alike. Hopefully it will be. Anyways, we'll talk about that in quarter number 4. But we got a winner this week. Will certainly come down to a tiebreaker. It'll certainly come down to the randomizer. You're just going to have to get some luck here in week number 2 with only 2 games, because I would expect a lot of people to go 2 for 2. I would expect a good handful, anyways, to nail the tiebreaker, and then we go to the randomizer. So don't forget. We'll talk about more in quarter 4. So lots of program to come up here, Lucas, and I don't know. Well, I suppose we begin in Oshawa, because that's where the week began, with the Toronto Rock visiting their, well, I don't know if they're their arch rivals now, but Alex Simmons, if he has his way, I think this is going to become a rivalry, one we can look forward to each and every year. But the Firewolves and the Toronto Rock hooked up in week number 1, and packed house there. What's it called? No, I don't want to say the Paramount Fine Food Center, but it's something like what's it called there?
Tribute Community Center.
Okay.
The TCC.
Full house, Lucas. You were there. Let's start there. The atmosphere inside the building, and crowd, obviously a knowledgeable one there in Oshawa, and got entertained to a pretty good game. But it took a while to get the first goal. But once that happened, I mean, there was no shortage of chances, but just the overall experience at the first Oshawa Firewolves game.
Amazing. Fans were stoked. They were excited. They were loud, first and foremost, which was great to see. And a lot of non-lacrosse fans came out for the season opener, which is one of the ultimate goals that the organization has. They know that they're going to draw from the lacrosse community and all of their fans in the Durham region, but it's the non-lax fans, or those that are, unfamiliar with the game, that they want to get out to their building and watch their games. And they got a lot of them that I saw and that I heard from at the game, and they were pleased with what they saw. Most of them are hockey fans. So to see lacrosse in Oshawa, home of where the Generals play of the Ontario Hockey League, it was fun to see them. A lot more, lacrosse is a physical and a cross-checking contact sport. You don't see that a lot in hockey. So the non-lax fans were excited to see that. Big hits, scuffles going on a little bit, and it was fun. And hey, it's always better when the home team wins, which is what happened here.
Yeah, I was going to say, all the more important, after kind of watching that game. And although I think I picked Toronto and who you got. So I got the game wrong. But when I was watching it, I was kind of like, man, the home team's got to win this game. And all those people that were in the building that night are going to come back for the next game. When you get entertained to a game like that, I can only think it's going to hook you. Nobody really went crazy as far as the stats department went. Nick Rose and Doug Jameson were both excellent. CJ Kurse getting his first couple. Owen Hiltz gets his first. We saw Sam English looking pretty good for Toronto as well. I think he might have been the best out of the 3 rookies overall in that game. I just noticed him a ton.
Yep.
And then we saw Alex Simmons at the end of the game there with the microphone in front of his mouth, and had some pretty sharp words. And I think he's trying to, pour a little gasoline on the fire here, that this is going to be a rivalry we can look forward to here, Toronto Rock and Oshawa Firewolves.
When you look at the 3 Ontario teams, you now have Toronto in the West. You can call Oshawa Central, and then you have Ottawa out in the East. So I think between the 2 teams along the 401 QEW combination, it's going to get heated. It's going to get tested. Fans are going to have to wait until February 6th or the 7th, whenever those 2 teams face off against each other again. But you're right. Simmons is looking forward to a Wolves Rock rivalry. And these 2 teams always played tough against each other, even when the organization was in Albany. but now that they're much closer to each other in proximity, I think it's going to spark it even more, and it's going to be a fun time every time those two teams are on the floor.
All right, let's get to Ottawa, the nation's capital here. And I'm going to be honest with you, man. Like, I was really disappointed to see the turnout for the Ottawa Black Bears home opener. And I'm not sure what the issue is. I mean, there's a community that is booming as far as their minor lacrosse association goes and their registration and, you know, the amount of players we see coming out of there now. And you got a big runway leading up to this game. And I think it was below what their average was last year. Yes, it's November, early December, and it's Christmas and all the rest of it. It's always a tough draw to get fans in the building prior to the calendar flipping to the new year. It's just kind of the way it is. And there's all the more reason, as far as I'm concerned, to maybe try something different, like going to a summer schedule. But that's concerning to me that you would pull that number on your home opener, you know, a new coach, new GM, one of the best players on the planet, a new season, you know, like hopes are high there in Ottawa. And yeah, they didn't win, but a heck of a game there. What we saw, 29 goals in that game and talent all over the place. Both teams looking sharp with that uniform matchup as well. And I think they got treated to a heck of a game there. And I don't know if it's the building location or, you know, whether they should be in a different building or whether there's not enough engines kind of firing on ticket sales or what's going on there. But that was almost the biggest thing I kind of took away from that game in week one, is seeing that crowd there, or lack thereof, in Ottawa.
Definitely. I will admit the location of the building, not sure if you've ever been there, Jumbo, but you're not even in Ottawa, unfortunately. You're in a little town called Canada, which is about 40 minutes from downtown Ottawa. So you're literally on the outskirts of the town. It's kind of in the middle of nowhere.
It is where the Senators play, though, right? It's the same building where the Senators play. Okay.
It's the same building where the Sens play, so it's the same location, but Senators are able to draw fans. I don't know what it is with the lacrosse community, and you're right. You do have a lot more players out in the NLL coming out of Ottawa and Akwesasne, Kanawaki, those teams out there in those centers.
Don't get me wrong. Like, I'm not trying to point the finger at the Black Bears as an organization, but maybe more so as a lacrosse community there in Ottawa. Like, you want to walk the walk, talk the talk, like get out there. Like, if you want, you want your junior A team, and, we're puffing our chest out about how great the Ottawa lacrosse scene is. And I think it is. I've seen it, but I didn't see it on Saturday night there at the Canadian Tire Center, and that concerns me. Like, Ottawa fans, players, parents, kids, you want to keep your Ottawa Black Bears in town? Start showing up to home games, or you're going to lose a team for a second time.
The universities as well. You have University of Ottawa and Carleton out there, and their programs are doing well. Yes, Ottawa had a down year this year. They lost, I think their final record was 1-7, but 4 of those games were in overtime, or at least 1-goal games. So the programs, and the fans, and the scene is high out there. It's big. Guys, just go buy a ticket and plant your butt in a seat for the night and go watch the Black Bears. I'm not saying he's the greatest player in the NLL right now. Some will say he is. But you're treated to Jeff T 9 times a year in your town. Why wouldn't you want to go see that?
Well, I don't know is the answer I have for you. You saw a pretty good scrap between Patrick Chime and Big Luke Magnum going at it. Trey LeClaire with a 5 spot. Robbie Hellier a hat trick against his former club.
Corey Small, I got to say.
Zach Courier, one of the best players on the planet all around. There's you're getting your money's worth going to watch an Ottawa Black Bears game, and I'm just saying to Ottawa fans as a whole, that whole province, you better start showing up to Black Bears games if you want to keep your Black Bears in Ottawa.
Did you see the goal that Connor Kiernan had?
I did. Absolutely ridiculous. And
Sports Center. Holy.
Yeah, I'm not saying he was looking to put that on the bounce into the top corner, but he had a pretty good idea of what he was doing when he shot that ball. Like, that wasn't a fluke that it hit the net or went in. I just think, how he did it with the bouncer into the top corner made it look even more sick. But excellent goal there from Connor Kiernan, goal of the year candidate in week number 1. It was guaranteed win night in Buffalo. I think they have won their 4th, maybe their 3rd straight. Well, they banner raising night, Buffalo wins. I'll just say that. And no different here as they took on the Georgia Swarm. I got to say, as far as the banner raising went, again, I believe the Buffalo Bandits continue to set the standard as far as an organization goes. The way they pack them in there at KeyBank every single night, the way they treat their front office staff, their employees, their coaches, their players. People want to go play in Buffalo. They want to stay in Buffalo when they get there. And to see Brett Swenson, Chris Swenson's son, get out there with the microphone for the banner raising with the boys locked arm and Brett crushed it, by the way. And I'm sure that came right from Scott Loeffler, like, hey, why don't do you want to try this, Chris? Like, do you think Brett would want to do this? I'm sure that came from Scott. But just tip to tail, like, I don't think you can roll out a banner-raising presentation better than what you saw there in Buffalo. Like, just incredible scenes, man.
Absolutely. It was great to see. It's what you want. It's what people in our sport want to see. That's how a banner-raising night and just everything the Bandits are doing in general. All teams should follow that.
It's the model.
People like to throw out the term guinea pig, Jake, of, a team trying something or a player trying something and teams will follow. Yeah. Buffalo are the guinea pigs for every single thing the league or the rest of the franchises
now they got
should
the
be
blueprint,
doing.
Lucas. Now they got the blueprint.
That's the word I'm looking for, blueprint.
Yeah. They're not the guinea pig anymore, but yeah.
No, you're right. They are the blueprint. But it wasn't just the banner-raising night that made that made the game something special to watch. There were a ton of things from this game that we can talk about. And
I mean, let's open up the rule book here first, maybe, Lucas. Like, it's been a while since I opened up my NLL rule book, and maybe that's not a good thing. But as far as, like, I heard Joel Watson today on Daily, or yesterday, I can't remember what day it was, but I heard him talking about how it's not 15 years ago and goalies aren't supposed to serve their penalties anymore. And I'm unclear whether Dobson should have served that major to begin with or whether there's no language in there. Like, I know the goalies don't serve minor penalties. And I think there's language in the rule book saying that, but I don't think there's anything in the rule book saying that goalies should or should not have to serve a major penalty. And whether Dobson should have been in there, not in there, I don't know if this was called improperly or right. And we just haven't seen this in a long time. So Dobson gets a 5-minute high stick for cross-checking Ian McKay, who was trying to run behind the goal. And surely it's 5, maybe more when you're looking at it a second, third, fourth time. Like, could have been 5 in a game. Definitely worth the 5. But I haven't seen a goalie serve a penalty in the National Lacrosse League since I want to say the major indoor lacrosse league and like Marty O'Neill or something like that sitting in the penalty box for doing something stupid around his crease. So you tell me, you're an official. Do you have this in front of you? Can you enlighten me and the rest of us what the call was or what it should have been or not should have been?
So I'm trying to pull up the rule book right now, and I don't have the NLL rule book in front of me, but I have the Arena Lacrosse League rule book, which follows almost every single rule that the NLL has with its own few modifications, mainly to face masking and helmet contact and everything.
Yeah.
But in terms of major penalties, I can't find anything in here regarding a major penalty for a goaltender.
Okay. So Watson's saying that Dobson shouldn't have had to serve it and the referees called it wrong, but I don't know. Like, I honestly don't know. And I'm sure veteran crew chief Todd LeBranche or whoever's listening to this podcast after it comes out is going to fill me in. So I will circle back on this topic next week when somebody fills me in on what exactly happened there on that play. Like I know what happened, but I like it was a crazy scene.
It was.
Seeing Buffalo score and then point to the penalty box and see Brett Dobson sitting in the penalty box. Crazy stuff.
Hey, hold on.
Okay.
Hold on, Jake. I can tell you what would have happened if Dobson had been kicked out of the game, if he had gotten a GM, like a game misconduct, but I can't tell you what happens if he just gets a straight 5, which is very odd.
Okay, well, what happens if he gets a game misconduct?
When a
player
goalie
has
is
to.
assessed a 10-minute misconduct penalty, the in-home must serve the penalty.
Okay,
When
that's
a
a
goalie,
10 though. That's a 10.
Yeah. So,
Yeah,
so that's what I can tell you
that's
what would have
fine.
happened if
All
he
right.
got 10 minutes. But since he just got a straight 5, I can't tell you what happens there, unfortunately.
All right. Somebody will.
The
Somebody
only thing that it says here that that might enlighten some people is this: the offender, in this case Brett Dobson, the offender shall serve the full 5 minutes and will return to the floor on the next non-technical stoppage of
Okay,
play
so before
following the
that, though,
expiration of the penalty.
before that though, the offender. So it
The
doesn't say anything
offender.
about player or goalie or
No,
anything. There's no specific language about goalies.
no. It's just
Okay.
just under major penalty. It says, "quote The offender shall serve the full
All
5
right.
minutes."
So maybe they just called it to the letter of the law.
Maybe they did.
But Joel Watson seemed to think, and him being a former goaltender, that no matter what, minor or major, goalies should not be serving their own penalty time they
Yeah.
used to, and I haven't seen it for years and years and years, and I think they took that out, but I don't know, maybe somebody just reverted back to an old rule book or something. We'll get more on that next week. How about that? Let's cap
We
it
will,
off
yes.
here in week number 1 and Rogers Rib Night at Rogers Arena. Lucas, I don't know if
How
you
were
saw
the
Brad's.
ribs?
Oh my god, man, they're like the size of dinosaur bones, dude. Like you have 2 and it's like, that's good for me, thanks. They're humongous. I was looking forward to rib night. It happened to be rib night. Well, I think we'll maybe get one more rib night at the Rog. Unless you've really experienced rib night at Rogers Arena, I can't really do it justice. But just let me tell you, it's a treat. And the fans at Rogers Arena, well, I don't know if they got treated to the best game here, Lucas. To me, Vancouver still looked like it was kind of in their final week of training camp here. And as you'll recall, they missed out on an exhibition game against Las Vegas because of CBA negotiations. They didn't look particularly sharp in their 2 preseason games. Not that they were bad in this game, but I don't think they were clicking on all cylinders. You know, just the 1 goal in the first quarter between the 2 teams. And it was always going to be a goaltending battle between Ward and Delge, but this was just a special teams fest here. 8 penalties for Vancouver, 7 penalties for Colorado, and 6 goals for Will Malcom.
Special teams, they're either gonna win you games or gonna lose you games, and Vancouver, they just couldn't stay out of the penalty box.
Well, the problem with them is that, I mean, they were 4 for 8 on the power play, which, you know, you get 50% on the power play, you're a happy man at the end of the night. But they took themselves off the power play, I think 3 or 4 separate times while they were on a man advantage. So
I'm
do the
looking at their
math.
goals. I'm looking at their goals, Jake, and Vancouver scored 7 that night, okay? 6 of them were special teams.
2 shorties and 4 power play goals, 1 at even strength. And that's
Yeah.
just not going to win you a whole lot of games. And when you let a guy tuck 6 on you either, I don't like your chances. And to compound it, 4 for 20 in the faceoff dot. And I don't know, we heard Kurt on last week, said Stath's going to be a bit like, you know, probably another 3-4 weeks at least. They need some sort of solution in the meantime here. For me, I'm going and looking at Reese Barnes right now. If he's not protected on a roster, and I don't think he is right now. I can't remember where he was trying out, but I think he either got put on the practice or released. And if I need a faceoff guy, and this guy can check too, like I'd probably go have a look at Reese Barnes, but we'll see what Vancouver wants to do. They might have another plan in place. But Mammoth, I mean, 11-3 all time against the Warriors. They're just they got the tonic to beat Vancouver. Tough matchup there. Back-to-back years on the opening game of the season, and same result. for Vancouver. I'm not panicking, but I'm not all that shocked either that I think they were a little slow out of the gate. We are going to keep rolling here in quarter number 1, and we are going to head for the construction site. RyCor standout players of the week. Ride rope, hammer. Oh, it's back, Lucas, and it's here to stay for the foreseeable hammer and pin. Foreseeable future is we're going to have a RyCor standout player of the week every single week of the National Lacrosse League season. Obviously, Will Malcom would have been a pretty easy pick here with 6 goals, but we're going to talk to Will Malcom coming up here next quarter, so you can't pick Willie Malcom. But who is your RyCor? Let me tell you this first about RyCor Construction, Lucas, before we get into our standout players of the week. Family owned. They operate their business out of the Lower Mainland. That's where I live. And they specialize in all residential interior and exterior renovations. So whatever you need done around the homestead, whether you want to spruce things up a little bit in the kitchen or the bathroom, or you want to just do a complete transformation of the backyard, or whatever the case is, they can do it. They got tons of experience. They're going to make it stand out. www.rycorconstruction.ca. Let them make it stand out for you. Lucas, okay, week 1, your standout player of the week.
I'm going to my hometown. You went to your hometown for RyCor Construction. They know what they're doing down there in the Lower Mainland. But out here in Durham region, his first ever NLL game on the ball team, played a little bit on the PK unit, and he had 5 loose balls, a couple of forced turnovers as well, caused turnovers, I should say. Number 66, you saw him a lot in the WLA this past year, Jumbo. Jackson Fridge. He was he had a really good outing in his first NLL game. I was watching him a lot on defense, and man, he's just a quick defender that knows how to stay with his guys. And if there's a ball on the turf, he's the definition of a dog on a bone. Man, is he hungry for loose balls.
I like that. I like that a lot. And, you know, back when the show kind of first started and it was sponsored by Stampede Tack, we had our Stampede Stallion of the week, Lucas, our Stampede Stallion. You know, back then it was more about guys that maybe you didn't quite hear about on a weekly basis, weren't putting up the points, but doing a lot of other things to kind of help their team win. And that was kind of the essence of the Stampede Stallion. And I wanted to carry that over into RyCor, and kind of a hardworking man and blue-collar lunch pail guy, that type of player that I kind of want to spotlight each week to give the RyCor standout player, just to kind of give these guys a little shine that maybe not a lot of people are talking about all the time. And I like Jackson Fridge, and I don't think that'll be the last time that we hear about Jackson on the construction site. I think this guy's probably been on there before, but he's on there again, and that's Mitch Desnew. Picked up from no training camp for this guy. What does he do? Comes out with 1-1, 11 loose balls, 4 shot blocks, 2 caused turnovers. I saw a stat, I think like the 5th player to do it in NLL history. What a stat line for Mitch Desnew and his Re-Bandits debut. Shout out to Meg as well, who gave the podcast a follow. I'm not sure if Meg's listening or not. Maybe she will if she knows her man is this week's RyCor stand-up player of the week. So Mrs. Dr. Desnew, welcome to the show, and welcome to the construction site. Mitch Desnew, stand-up player of the week.
Great choice. Mitchie has been doing it for a long time. And you're right. No training camp. Just slots right in, and he really didn't miss a beat at all.
What a beast, man. The guy is an absolute...
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
That will replace Justin Martin pretty quickly, I would say. Yes. Nicely done to Steve Dietrich and company. Let's go right from the construction site straight to the factory, outdoors to indoors here, but we're still working hard. Goalie Factory Goalie of the Week time.
Big save, Chiliano. Rebound call, Crime Stoppers.
Vince just scored a goalie goal.
Jameson Jamieson somehow comes up with the stop.
Larceny.
And here's Shane Jackson off the bench. And there's Christian Del Bianco with a stick side save.
Goalie Factory Goalie of the Week brought to you by the Goalie Factory. I think we're going to do a little collab every Wednesday. So stay tuned to the socials at Goalie Factory _. You can find them on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. And you can also hit their link tree in their bio there as well. And that's the best way to get a hold of the folks at the Goalie Factory. If you got any questions, that's the best way to get signed up for your practice time. That's the best way to get signed up for your online coaching as well. Forget about the merch from the factory as well. Become factory built. Visit at Goalie Factory _ and let the gang over there make you a better goalie. So look forward to the little collab coming up on the socials. But I got in touch with Riley Brown this week, and he let me know, no question in his mind, Douglas J. Jamieson is this week's Goalie Factory Goalie of the Week. Big Dougie allowing 7. Dylan Ward, same number, but right in there going toe-to-toe with Nick Rose and Doug Jamieson, as solid as ever. Off to a good start with the Firewolves.
Bear with me for 1 second. Not only did Dougie make 48 saves on 55 shots, Jake, but 55, if you add 2 more zeros to that number, Dougie saw 55 shots, and he's reached 5,500 career minutes as a National Lacrosse League goaltender. What a milestone that is.
Yeah, I mean, he broke in pretty early. Like, he became a number one at a pretty young age. So I don't think he's ever getting to Vino's number, because
I don't think anybody is.
No, I don't think anybody ever is. But because he's just a genetic freak and is going to play until, I don't know, he's 50 or something. And Dougie's not quite. I don't know if Dougie's quite as diligent taking care of his body as Matthew Vince is. I'll just say that. I don't know if anybody is. I'm certainly not either.
Yeah. I don't have anything else to say to that
other than expert analysis. Right?
Yeah. Expert analysis. Clip it. But Dougie had a great debut on Friday night, and again, I know it's game 1 and he looked really solid, but if he's able to do that the rest of the season, drop a game here or two there, I don't see any reason why the Firewolves won't be able to make it back into the playoffs and go on a deep playoff run. I don't want to count my chickens before they hatch, but you never know what might happen with Dougie. We know last year was a down year for the whole organization, but we'll see what happens this season. And they're right back in action this Friday night, which we'll talk about in quarter number 4. Jake, what else do you want to talk about Dougie?
Well, I wanted to mention, you mentioned looking good, and I wanted to mention our friends over there at Off the Crossbar in Greggy and Teddy, who did a little. Greggy set up the visuals, and he had like the ticker going, and he had the branding and some neon pink going around in there. So it looked fantastic, and it was kind of nice to just kick back and listen to the fellas chop it up for a little bit like that, and got me thinking. This has always been an audio only podcast. Like, when I listen to a podcast, I'm usually driving or I'm doing other things. I'm just kind of listening as I do the things and whatever. I don't know. I've never thought, I need to watch what these guys are saying when they're talking, but we're seeing more and more. I don't know. You tell me, classmates, do you think it's time for Lax Class maybe to level up a little bit, maybe get some video going? I don't know, because I've never driven down that street before, but if the people out there demand it and want to see it, I'd be open to discussing. I will just say.
That can certainly enter the conversation.
All right.
We will see what happens.
See. Speaking of conversations, we got one coming up next with Colorado forward Will Malcom. He joins us next year on Lacrosse Classified.
This is Jalen Chaster, and you're listening to Lax Class.
Welcome back to Lacrosse Classified. We are into the second quarter of action, and the second quarter is brought to you by Edge Dynamics. They're passionate about supporting communities and driving growth. They're based out of Alberta, and they partner with nonprofits and small businesses to deliver sharp marketing strategies that make an impact. Visit edgedynamics.ca, sharpen your brand on a global level, and check out their social media as well, at Edge Dynamics Digital. and see all the cool stuff that they're getting done over there at Edge Dynamics. This guy did some pretty cool things on Saturday night at Rogers Arena. His third sock trick of his career, scoring 6 goals against the Vancouver Warriors in their 10-7 victory, and start the season 1-0, number 4 in your lucky Mammoth program, Will Malcom, joining us here on Lax Class. I believe this is your first time here on the pod. Will, welcome. Thanks for doing it.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. I think I did it a couple of years ago.
Okay,
Here.
maybe at Panther
after one
City
of
way
the
back when.
games
Yeah.
before. Yeah,
Wait.
way back. It was after Panther City Warriors game.
Where are we at? Is this like year 6, I want to say?
Yeah, year 6, if you count the COVID season, was when I got drafted.
Okay.
And that one, I think, like 9 or 10 games. And if you count that, yeah, this is my 6th season.
All right. Well, it's been a ride, man, and you know, going from Colorado to Panther City back to Colorado. I want to talk about all that, but the first thing I want to talk to you about is the Mann Cup, and I'm sure you probably haven't completely gotten over that with things kind of going the wrong way in Game 7, Will. But you know, it's one thing to play in a Mann Cup. It's another to be a Western guy and get to play in the Mann Cup in the West. It's another to get to play Mann Cup in Queen's Park Arena and then do it as a New Westminster Salmon Belly, as a New Westminster kid, I think is a whole nother level. So just tell me what that meant to you to be a hometown kid playing for your hometown team in that environment in a series like that.
Yeah, man, it was, like you said, it was unreal. My dad was a belly. Both my uncles were a belly, and growing up as a kid, always in Queen's Park, watching my brother, watching them play in a couple Mann Cups, and just having that place packed was it was surreal. And just having people reaching out from all over New West that you haven't heard from in forever. Everyone's coming to the games. It was just an environment and an experience that I can't wait to be able to experience again. I can't wait to play in another one there, and I think we will, and I think New West will be making a push for years to come.
Yeah, I had a chance to play with your uncle Tony. We called him Crazy Legs back there, and it seems like all you Malcolms have the same genetics as far as the quicks go. Like your brother Tony's got it, your uncle had it, you got it. So it just seems to run in the family, and I really think back to that Mann Cup, and I think I called it more than one occasion. Like that was big boy lacrosse right there, Will. And like I think that's a level that maybe you hadn't seen before as far as the physicality and talent level goes. Like the amount of good players on both teams going at it in a 7-game series like that. It had to make you a better player and probably make you a little hungrier to reach the next level.
Yeah, I got the little taste of it 2 years ago or 3 years ago when we played them at Queen's Park, and that was an extremely high level. And then this one was even a level above that. Just every shift going out against guys like Latrell and Priolo, just like the best D guys every shift, came out of it just with a lot of confidence and, you know, just going into training camp. And you just know it's not going to get tougher than that.
Yeah.
So, and when you have success, it's just a big confidence booster. And it was so much fun when you get to compete against those guys after 3 days in a row. Everyone's beat up. And yeah, no, it definitely made me a better player. Made a bunch of the other guys better players, and just itching to do it again in that arena.
I know it wasn't the result that you ultimately wanted, Will. It would have been probably the cherry on top for a New West kid to win it in New West jersey. But what's a takeaway that you learned from that entire tournament at the Mann Cup that you're now trying to implement and you're working on as the NLL season begins?
Yeah, I think as far as that series goes, how like physical it was and the toll it takes on your body, I think a big aspect I pulled was just the mental side of it, prepping for those games, like just trying to get into a flow state, trying to get in the zone. You're going up against the same guys every day, and coming into this NLL season, I'm really just mentally and physically just always when you check the boxes. If I know I did everything I can to prepare for a game, then I shouldn't have anything to be nervous about, and whatever happens. So definitely a mental aspect.
You checked off every box before Saturday?
Hey, yeah, it was nice being able to stay at home during the week and seeing my trainer at home, checking those boxes, hanging out with family, just feeling all relaxed. So I was just feeling really good.
Well, you mentioned the word flow and flow state, and I've through my coaching, Will, done a lot of mental training. It sounds like you do as well. Do you think you do more than the average player? And how much do you do, and how big of an advantage do you think you get from doing mental training?
Yeah, I think it's huge as I'm getting older. Just having, even after you finish a game, just like the self reflection, what can I do better? What did I do here? What did I do there? The more and more I realize just how much every sport is mental and getting into that flow state. And you're in it when, if you're having a 6 goal game, like I'm not really thinking out there. It's reactionary and instinct, and that's how you know you're in the zone.
Yeah, well, it was pretty apparent, and I don't know, like when I quite noticed it. Maybe after the third one, I was like, "Oh, Will's in one here," and I've seen it
Yeah.
before. Like, yeah, I've seen you do it in the summer. I've seen you do it in the NLL, and you know it when you see it. What I didn't see, and I got to be honest with you here, because I got home and I started kind of looking at the highlights and whatever, and open up my Instagram, and I had about 6 DMs, and a couple were from well known New Westminster people that you would recognize their last name, Will, but I had some others coming in. Malcolm on the back of your jersey. Little
Yeah.
extra,
Yeah.
little
Yeah.
extra
Yeah.
letter in this. So now they're asking,
Yeah.
well, Will scored 6 with his name spelled wrong on his jersey. What's going on there first? And then are you going to keep that for another game because you just potted 6 in it? So do you want to switch?
Yeah, that's what everyone's saying. I should keep it now and be the Malcolm after that. But I don't know. That's something I had to deal with when I was a kid all the time, having it misspelled, and I haven't had it in a while. Maybe it was the number change, the jerseys, little
Yeah.
screw up, but I don't know. It's whatever. I don't think I'll keep the wrong last name, but
Okay. You
no, it was
auction
funny.
that thing off. It's going to be where somebody in
Yeah,
Denver would buy that
yeah,
up in a heartbeat.
yeah.
Well, I want to ask you, Jake talked about it briefly off the top. You started in Colorado, went to Panther City, you're now back in Colorado. What's different about this stint for yourself with the Mammoth than the first time around?
The first thing, stint number one, I was 19 years old. I still had another year junior, so I really hadn't evolved in the lacrosse player I am now, or even close to it. And it's looking back on it, it was really good for me to go to Panther City. Just the TK and those guys pretty much just gave me the keys and let me expand as a player and work on things. And they believed in me, and then it all just kind of worked out. And heading back to Colorado now, I just looking back when I was 19, I feel like I'm just a completely different person, different confidence level,
The
bigger.
mustache is a lot
Like
better too.
pretty
Well,
much every every
yeah, the
every
must.
aspect is definitely different. I'm like 30 pounds
Well,
heavier.
yeah,
So
yeah. I mean,
it's
listen.
that's fun.
You're not wrong, right? But even from last year to this year, Will, like I think there's been a lot of growth there in your game as well. But then gone are Eli McLaughlin for the foreseeable future, Connor Kelly, Zed Williams, Connor Robinson, like almost a completely new offense there in Denver. And now you get to play with a guy like you. Talk about all the new people. Like you've gone from maybe a guy that was in the shadow a little bit to now a guy that's in the spotlight with you and Q kind of 1A and 1B over there. So talk about the new offense and what it's like to play with Q ball.
Yeah, I'm super excited to keep playing with Q. Anytime you have a player with that kind of range and shooting ability for a guy like me, it's just gonna give me more space, and it's gonna make me a lot easier for me to draw doubles and dish to him. He doesn't need a lot of room to get a shot off. So working with Q, I think, is gonna be unreal. And then I think we drafted really well. Also, Braden Saris can shoot the hell out of the ball. We got Jameson Bucktooth. I'm sure he'll get a couple games in this year. He's just extremely skilled, and he's
The
got
guy that
another
got the
year
belt. How about
junior.
the guy that got the belt? Like I don't know if his stat line.
Vela, yeah,
Yeah. I
Vela's
mean,
just a
there's
good.
a grinder for you.
Yeah, he'll grind. He gets mucky. He draws a lot of penalties. Any like for a guy like me, working with Vels is just a dream. He's just banging for me nonstop, creating space. But yeah, I think we lost those guys, but I think we got a lot more skilled and younger, and I'm excited to see where it goes.
What's kind of the new role that you've taken on this year? Because Jake said it a little bit. You're now, kind of guy that was in the shadows. Now you're kind of more in the spotlight and you're more present out there on the floor. So what do you try to do to help out the young guys, or, what is kind of the new role that Will Malcom is adapting to in the Mammoth locker room?
I think it's just the play will speak for itself, but I think it's just being a leader. Like you said, I'm one of the younger guys. It's my sixth season, just being and I've been in the same position as a lot of the guys like Bucky, being a young draft pick, 19 years old, same team, and just giving them advice. Just the NLLs, there's so many ups and downs. You just got to stay level through it, and it'll all work out.
Did I see you kind of look off our sideline reporter and kind of push Q over there at halftime? Was that you that was like, no, like you take the new guy. I'm off to the locker room here. Was that you?
No, that wasn't me.
It might have been Lee. It might have been Lee. Okay, I thought she was trying to grab somebody for an interview, and they were like, nope, not me. Grab this guy. He's the new guy. Which I thought was
like
funny.
Something Lisa would do.
Yeah. Here with Will Malcom, a couple more minutes, Will, and your coaches with Jason Bishop, who you had obviously in the summertime as well, and you've gotten to know him really well, and Pat Coyle now for a few years as your head coach. Talk about the impact that these two guys have had on not only your playing career, but maybe as part of what's shaped you as a man.
Yeah, I have Bish year round now with the Bellies in Colorado, so that definitely made the process of going from Panther City to Colorado a lot easier, being familiar with him, and he knows my game, so he's able to put me in positions to be successful. And Bish is he's just a lacrosse fanatic. He's always scheming new plays and everything. And then Pat is he's an unreal coach. He's more meat and potatoes. Sometimes he'll just come down and tell me, he'll break it down a lot simpler for me. He's like, just do this well, and it usually works out. He's really smart in that way.
Just straight to the point, not a lot of sugar on it.
He gets straight to the point, not much thinking, just do this well. And he's usually in the right. So it's a great coaching staff, even all the way up to Selfer. It's a great organization, and they're really good at putting guys in positions to succeed. So I'm happy to be here.
And you're living down in Denver this year. Who you shacked up with down there? How many of those guys are you down there with?
My roommate was Owen down last year, but this year I'm solo, and we got the rookies Braden Saris and Connor Knock and Warren Jeffrey, and I think a couple more guys will be trickling in here as the season goes on.
That's when you're moving up, man. When you can you get solo living accommodations. That's when you're moving up the ladder right there.
I always love asking this question to players because it doesn't matter if they're a face-off guy, a forward such as yourself, a goaltender, whatever the case may be. When you come into a new season, everybody has their own individual goal. Complete the sentence for me. Short of winning the National Lacrosse League Championship this year, Will Malcom's individual goal is?
Make players around me better.
Good answer right there, Will Malcom. Appreciate you doing this, my man. Good luck in Philadelphia in a couple of weeks. And I know New Westminster was super proud of you on Saturday night. And we'll talk soon, man. Thanks for doing this.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, guys.
All right, there you go. There he is, Will Malcom, Colorado Mammoth, New Westminster Sandbellies. And I don't think, Lucas, he joined the National Lacrosse League as a 19-year-old. And he's going into year 6 here. He's still got, I want to say 2, 3, 4 years before he hits his peak. So what we're seeing right now, Will Malcom, I think is only going to get better. I think he's starting to scratch the ceiling a little bit, but he hasn't jumped through it. So look out for Will Malcom in 2-3 years. I think he's going to be one of the best players in the league.
Definitely. I'd say right now this is the trailer of Will Malcom. The movie hasn't even premiered yet for this guy, and he's still got a lot to show. So it's going to be fun watching him with the Mammoth, and we'll see them back in action in 2 weeks.
All right, let's move along. It's time for halftime, Lucas, and then the fun stuff on the other side. Lax Class Lock of the Week. Who you got? It's coming up. Stay right here. Lacrosse Classified is back after this.
Associated Labels and Packaging, a fun family company that offers premium quality labels and packaging with unparalleled service. With 40 years of experience, an extensive product catalog, and an ever-growing fleet of equipment, Associated Labels and Packaging is the perfect fit to take your labels and packaging to the next level.
This is Zach Mann. You're listening to Lax Class.
Halftime over, quarter three underway. Associated Labels and Packaging sponsoring quarter number three. Fun, family owned, right here in Coquitlam. Lucas, I didn't tell you about this last week. Thursday, American Thanksgiving. Sean also, he's got his Associated Labels and Packaging business. Also has a cannabis company called Green Mile. So his warehouse for his he keeps all his toys in there, like his Harleys and his fancy muscle cars, and he's got this man cave warehouse. It's a warehouse, but it's just for him sort of thing. He's got the saltwater fish tank. He's got the virtual car racing where you have you sit in the seats and it's got the pedals and the gear shift and it's got the flippers on the steering wheel and it's got the e-brake for rally drifting. It's legit video game. Anyways, he's got a pair of these things in there and a bunch of TVs. He put on this big spread, watching football from 10 a.m. till 8 o'clock at night and had a pretty good time over there at the Green Mile. I don't know what you call it. The lounge, I think he calls it, something like that. But it is the ultimate man cave, and I highly encouraged him to do more things like that because I had a great time seeing a bunch of my buddies and stuff. So shout out to Sean from Associated Labels and Packaging. They're back on board for 2026 as well. He said he's ride or die. As long as the podcast is going, he's with me. So love that. And I'm assuming all my other sponsors or our sponsors are back as well, Lucas. And this one is Associated Labels and Packaging. They're the best in the business when it comes to labels and the packages. You've heard this for about 7 years now. AssociatedLP.com. Need a label, need a package. Those are you people. We're here in quarter three, which is also the time to give us a 5-star review. Jot down a few words on that review as well. That helps the engagement. That gets us more classmates. Subscribe to the podcast wherever you are. Apple, Spotify, Google Play, you name it. We're there. Hit the subscribe button. Then give us a follow on social media at Lacrosse Classified, at Lax Class Podcast, at Larger Sports, at PXP for Sports. And keep up to date. Stay in touch. Slide in the DMs. Been getting a lot of DMs lately. I don't mind getting the DMs. Most of the DMs are okay. Once in a while, I'll get a weird DM. But I've been getting some DMs lately. Get in the DMs. Who do you want to hear from? What do you want to hear on the show? Tell us. Do you want to see video of Lax Class? What do you think about that? YouTube? Should we be on YouTube? Then I just got to mention YouTube when I'm doing this big spiel every single week, Lucas. Another thing to mention. We're also going to mention this week's Lax Class Lock of the Week.
Lock of the week. Hey, let's lock and load it. Woo! Yeah!
I am going to be a very rich dude.
Ooh, it's a big lock, all right.
Lax Class Lock of the Week. Brought to you by Coolbet Canada. Coolbet.com is where you want to go. You want to put in the bonus code LAXClass before you sign up or put any money in. They're going to match your first-time deposit of $200 or less. But take advantage of this. Put in the full $200. They're going to give you $200 just by putting in the bonus code LAXClass when you sign up. Then you want to hit the exclusives tab, and you're going to find Lacrosse Classified Parlay, courtesy of Coolbet, and only Coolbet. It's exclusive. That's why it's under the exclusives tab. Makes sense. And only 2 games this week. So we're going to go same game parlay times 2. 4-legger, a little mixed action here, they call this, Lucas. Oshawa on the money line, over 22.5. Saskatchewan on the money line, over 22.5. Plus 10.50 for the classmates. Whew. I wish I could, Lucas. I can't. This is just for the classmates here. I got to stay away from this. I got bigger problems than this anyways. NFL is just crushing me. I should probably stay away from the NFL is what I should do. Just took the NLL's responsible gambling training, which I do every year. And it's a nice, I will say, it's a nice, kind of reminder. They have a lot of things in there that they go over and they cover, but it's a nice kind of reminder to myself, and I'm sure to many others, to just be aware of the signs that, maybe things are getting away from you a little bit. Are you doing too much of this? Are you not? it's just a good reminder to stay within your means, stay cool, and bet responsibly, as they say at Coolbet. Just keep it under control. You can set time limits on yourself. They have responsible gambling training, I believe, available on Coolbet as well. And whether you think you need it or you don't need it, I would encourage everybody just to have a look at it and just listen to it, read it. And I think it's a good thing for everybody to do. So there you go with that. But with that being said, Lucas, bet it all down this week here in week number 2. Empty the account, plus 1050. And I think this is going to be an absolute lock here. So you're guaranteed, I'm saying this tongue-in-cheek, of course, guaranteed to win this week.
Wow. We're guaranteed.
No,
I like it.
Nothing is guaranteed when it comes to sports gambling. Just clear and concise and as honest as I can be. Nothing is guaranteed when it comes to gambling on sports.
No, it's not. So let's have some fun with it. Going to be a fun 2 games and 22.5 on both of them. We like it. Going to be goals galore. Jeez, we really hope
we had two.
That this happens.
We had 2 overs last week and 2 unders last week as well out of the 4 games. So let's hope both of these are overs. Nobody's got time for the under, Lucas.
Nobody got time for that.
We got time for one more quarter here on the podcast, and it's quarter number 4, and it's time for Who You Got.
Hey, this is Logan Schuss. You're listening to Lax Class, your go-to source for all things NLL and box lacrosse. And now it's time for another round of Who You Got?
It's time once again to play your favorite podcast game. Who you got?
Who you got?
Who are you?
Who?
Cut it off. Just who. That's it. There's no next week. We'll do better next. 2 games this week. Do we want to talk about the standing? What did you do? Did you go 2 for 4, 3 for 4? I went 1 for 4.
Let's take a look, shall we?
I guess.
I went 2 for 4.
Good for you.
I went 2 for 4.
What place
I got my dad signed up for Who You Got. Funky and I convinced him. He kicked our asses. He did.
I'm glad.
He absolutely destroyed us.
Danny, Subshot Sal, not Eastman Dan, but Subshot Sal went 4 for 4. She did not get the tiebreaker correct, however. Our winner did. You heard her in the open right there. 2 Who You Gots in the soundbite now. And we were talking about Stampede Tack earlier in the program. Well, the owner of Stampede Tack, one of them anyways, the better half, I will say, Naja Winkler is week 1's winner. She went 4 for 4, Lucas. Closest on... She nailed the tiebreaker. She had 17 bang on. So congratulations. She was rubbing it into the husband and the kids there. They couldn't believe it. But your prize pack will be on the way shortly for Naja Winkler, week 1. Happy to see that from the good folks over there at Stampede Tack, who sponsored the program for a long, long time. So congratulations to Naja. And now here in week 2, like we said, just 2 games. And, you heard who we're picking on the Lax Class Lock of the Week. So probably a pretty safe estimation on who we're taking in week 2 of the National Lacrosse League. But Lucas, you did better. So you're hosting once again. Let's pick it up. Let's get through this and get the people on their way.
Week 2 of Who You Got. Week 2 of the schedule means 2 games on the schedule. Friday night, NLL and TSN. Jake will see the Thunderbirds kick off their season as they host the Oshawa Firewolves. From the nest, it's the Birds, T-Birds, and the Firewolves. Who you got?
You would think I'm taking Oshawa here, but I'm taking Halifax. Suckers. Tricked you. Halifax for a 9.
I will take the road team. I will take Oshawa for a 9 as well. Took him on the parlay. I'll take him on Who You Got.
Shocking.
Game 2 is Saturday night. Round 1 of Battle of the Prairies from the Toon, Saskatoon to be exact. Rush hosting the Roughnecks, 8 p.m. Eastern. I think that's 7 p.m. or 6. I don't know my time zones that well out there for you, Jake.
This would be a 5 o'clock start on the West Coast.
5 o'clock. See, I was 0 for 2 right there. It wasn't 6 or 7. It was 5. Rush Roughnecks from Saskatchewan. Who you got?
I'm tempted to take the rough. Like, if I want to win this week, like, I don't think any combination of Oshawa Sask or Halifax Sask, unless you nail the tiebreaker. But I feel like maybe if Calgary pulls like the crazy upset, then I could actually just win the week outright. Problem is, this is like you only got a 9 and a 10 this week. We've never had it where the 10 has been the highest confidence number, and I just feel like we're going to have big margins this year here on as far as the point totals go at the end of the year, with 10 being involved every single week. So if you want to be in the mix at the end of the year here, I think you have to nail your 10 game pretty much every single week. Like, that has to happen for you. Never happens for me, but if you want to win, I think it has to happen. I'm going to take Saskatchewan here. I can't not take a team that was in the finals at home from a year ago. Saskatchewan, 10.
Same. Rush for a 10. It's the same argument as you. They were in the finals last year. It's hard not to take them.
Same team. Oh, speaking of, did you see the new paint job on Frank the Tank's helmet?
Ninja Turtles.
Oh,
I love
man.
it.
And then he's got the tank on there. He's got the name like that. Chef's kiss on the paint job.
Oh,
there,
it
Frankie.
looks fire. I love it.
Okay. Listen, I had a bunch of people, including young Joshy Mills there. Well, he's not so young anymore, but he's acting like a kid. He forgot to make his picks. I even reminded him after the Friday night. Still didn't make him for Saturday. I can't help you any more than that. Like, if I'm like teeing you, hey, you forgot to make Goalie Mitchell, I'm looking at you. You screwed up as well. Old Morehouse there. I know he listens to the pod every week. You effed it up as well. One more time here for you. You have to actually highlight the team that you are picking. Okay, so it should be blue once you pick the team that you're picking. Then you put the confidence weight beside the team that you have picked. Then you put in the tiebreaker, final game of the week, total amount of goals in that game, always the bottom game, last game of the week for the tiebreaker. Save and apply. Graham Pereiro, I know you love that. Save and apply. Got to save and apply. Pick the team, pick the confidence weight, pick the tiebreaker, save and apply. That's how you do it. Yeah, I can't explain it any clearer than that. And if you can't figure out how to do it after hearing that, then I can't help you. Like, I don't know what else to do. There's a bunch of people, Lucas, that screwed it up every year.
That's not a good thing. Not
it's only one
at
week.
all.
You can still join up. You can still win this thing. You're still in it. But if you wait too long, you're not going to be able to catch up. But you can still win weekly prizes. So still get signed up for Who You Got. It's in our bios. Office Pool Junkie, Who You Got with 2 T's. You can find it there as well. Win weekly prizes courtesy of Coolbet. Grand prize courtesy of Mohawk Lacrosse. MohawkLacrosse.net. Check them out for all your handcrafted hickory wooden lacrosse stick needs. Tradition right there. With that being said, thanks to our other sponsors as well. Goalie Factory, Edge Dynamics, RyCor, and Associated Labels and Packaging. Thanks to Will Malcom for coming by the podcast as well. You, Lucas, for co-hosting, and of course, the classmates. Gotta thank you guys. Without you, there is no podcast. So thanks for listening to the show. We'll be back with 368 in a week from now. Until then, enjoy the games. And for Lucas Arger, I've been Jake Elliott. And for the fastest game on 2 feet, and for the creator, stay safe, stay healthy, and stay classified.